I was taking on too many clients. I was doing class. I'm like, what am I going to do? 40% of us are probably burned out in this room. This is a big deal. Job demands are high. They're relentless. I don't have to tell you this. So, like, what do we do about this? Burnout is a big deal. So today, instead of like touting statistics, although I just touted one, this will be more of an experiential workshop. I'm going to take you through that. What happens when you do shared silence? This is what happens. You move yourself from anxious brain to curious brain. When we're an anxious brain, we're thinking about the past, all the mistakes we've made, the should-haves, would-have, could-haves, and all the worries of tomorrow. When it comes to relationships, an anxious brain, we tend to judge. The bad news with anxious brain is cortisol is released, which causes heart attacks and strokes. This is me at 3 a.m. Burnout is ongoing or persistent stress that results in these three things. And you may be here right now. Emotional exhaustion, like you're just completely done, worn out. This was me on 465. I was overextended. I was exhausted. The other is cynicism. Cynicism means I don't think what I do really matters anymore. I'm cynical of this whole thing. Cynicism. And the last is your work isn't as effective as it used to be. Like you're just not seeing the results you used to see. So you may have one of these three things. It's a prolonged period of these. And then within that stressor, we often think we don't have any control. So is there something you can control here? Something you can change? That could be an attitude, an approach, or a conversation. Because that idea of control helps us manage stress. And then what's out of your control? And then thinking about job support. Like, is there something I could unleash at work or bring in, like a manager, an EAP, or something else that could help me deal with this stress? And then consider a next step. So I like this. It's just sort of a reflection tool. So as you're sitting there, I want to give you a second maybe to think about that. You can jot this down on your phone. A stressor. I'm going to give you a minute actually to do this. Think about a stressor right now that you're facing. What can you control? What can't you control? And is there a job support available to you to help you with that? One thing that you might discover as you're going through that exercise is we often go to what comforts us versus what renews us. So comfort is the short term. For me, it's Netflix, Prime, Handel's ice cream again, popcorn with olive oil that, boiled in olive oil. Oh, I love it. Salt. More Netflix. It's short term. Renewal is long term, right? It's sustainable. It supports us in the long term. For me, as I was now getting closer to the Keystone exit, now close to Capitol, I realized, oh man, I'm running to comfort right now because I just wanted the quick fix to kind of get through the stressors that were going on in my life. So I don't know if you're out of balance here, comfort versus renewal, because what really renews us are these 5 things. These 5 things. There's more than just this. There are others. There are many others. We've got to exercise. This is like no-brainer stuff. Yeah, thanks for coming, Chris. You're going to tell me all the stuff I know. Like this is groundbreaking research here today. Exercise. Find what you do, find what you love, and do it all the time. 1 on this scale is you're in Cancun, drinking Mai Tais with Jerry and Doug. 3, you're on Prilosec, and 5, you need to be admitted. Okay? So that's the scale. So I want you to think about your stress level, and then I want you to think about a stressful situation you encountered recently. And then talk about how'd you cope with it, how'd you deal with it. And how do you feel about it now? So I want to just give you 2 minutes. We'll probably only have one person go at each table. Find one person who'd like to share their stress level, and the group can listen.
I live at 3.
3, okay, that's actually good. That's a good place, actually. 2 or 3, 2, 2.5. Anyone at a 4? No? Yeah, right. This is a big deal, right? The fact that you're here is a big deal because you're dealing with that in a community, so this is good. And self-efficacy is just confidence, this sense that you can do it, that you can manage and handle change and stress in your team. It builds this energy capacity for yourself. So if you build self-efficacy, your team will have a better ability to manage stress and deal with change and the hard stuff. And this is an opportunity for you as a leader. So when you ask your team, how are you doing? And you mean it, and you listen for 8 minutes, it's magic. Because what you're doing is you're helping them process the emotions related to their stressor. Just listen without fixing. I tend to fix without listening with my wife sometimes. She doesn't like that. My wife will ask me to do something, and she'll say, I will say this, I heard you, but I really didn't listen. Or she'll say, I think you heard me, but you really didn't listen. I'm great at this. Because I end up doing what she asks me to do. I don't do it. But these 4 kind of tools here you can deploy when it comes to listening, and one is reflect back. What I hear you saying is, do I have it right? And the other is exhorting. And the exhortation is just challenge them. Hey, I want to challenge you to do this because I see that you can. And that builds self-efficacy, which is the antidote to stress and gives them the ability to cope and protects themselves from burnout, okay? These factors contribute to what we call your positive work environment. And we need about 3 positive emotional experiences a day to every 1 negative. And a positive emotional experience could be just a good conversation with a colleague, or a great lunch with the team, or a good client conversation, or a win to every 1 negative. The last assessment is looking at these 5 factors that, when absent, lead to burnout. So if organizations aren't doing these things, and as leaders you're not influencing these things, you can create or set up your team for burnout. So we've got to have these 5 factors at work. It was just an honor to be with you. I just love this group. What you're doing is like burnout buffering here. So I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you all. So great to be with you. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you.